Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome back to Jibber Jabber. I'm your host, as always, Skadarmas, otherwise known as Tone Shift. And with me today, we have not quite a full house, but close enough. I'll just go down the list of people. So, first up, flying in the background and staring down at all of us with some odd mixture of contempt and overwordy poetic jargon running around in his head, we have Crow.
Hello, little tiny white ponies.
Yeah, you're smaller than we are. You're a bird. Next up, we have one of the three people occupying the British corner this time. We have Darkness.
Hey, everybody.
Another person in the British corner who isn't here nearly often enough. We have Lightning Flash.
Heyo.
Let's see here. Next up, hanging out in the background and staring into your soul, we have Paladin.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Also, you say for Lightning Flash that he's gone in a flash.
That fucking hurts my brain.
And lastly, rounding out the British corner, we have Tom117Z.
Heyo.
So, it's been a couple weeks. How's it been for everyone?
Tiring.
Yeah, it's been okay.
Busy.
Yeah.
My week's been progressively getting better. So
And of course, I've just been busy as all hell, because first I had to go to Everfree Northwest, and then I had to recover my voice after Everfree Northwest, because it got fucked. Like, no, seriously, there was a lot of whooping and hooting and cheering and hollering and screaming.
And
And yes, a little bit of that too. I had put up a video. I'm not going to be recounting things here, but yes, just so much loud noises that I made with my mouth at Everfree Northwest. My throat was dead for a few days. I could not do my voices, which is why readings kind of tanked for a second. Yeah, I'm back on point now, though. I'm back into shape. So yeah, it's been a good couple weeks since the last time we had an episode of Jibber Jabber, and that means there have been like 2 new episodes of the show that have come out, which means we have a talking point in the form of them. So just real quickly, we will be talking about the most recent 2 episodes of season 9 of MLP, Frenemies and Sweet and Smoky. If you have not watched those and you want to, then go do that before you listen to any more of this, because we will be probably getting into some mild spoiler territory here, so this is your spoiler warning.
all right, see ya.
Just get that out of the way. So let's do it. So let's go with Frenemies first.
I liked it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Chrysalis kind of stole the show, I think, but then again, she steals the show wherever she turns up in my eyes.
She also stole Clone Twilight's body, apparently.
I don't really know if stole is the right word for that, because she owned that to begin with. It's just a log.
It was a segue, sure.
But yeah, it was a fun episode. I had a lot of fun with it. Watching these villains steadily start to interact in a more amicable manner was a delight. And
The double take they did when they realized they were learning friendship.
Chrysalis' scream of rage, just no! Immediately stomped on that. But I mean, hey Tom, you called it. They're fucking turning on Grogar.
Yep. I'm sure it'll go exactly as they plan it.
Yeah.
Of course it won't. Grogar is already more powerful than the 3 of them put together as they are, so he doesn't need his bell to fuck them up.
Part 1 of the finale, they'll curb stomp our heroes. Those 3 will then try and backstab Grogar, but he of course already knew about it, so he proceeds to backstab them first. And then they look at the main stage like, should we work together? We should probably work together.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there's our predictions for the finale right there.
Yeah. I still hate you all, but I'd rather not die.
Right.
Imagine it like a form of a cooperation similar to Kakarot and Vegeta.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, those 2 don't hate each other, not anymore at least. They're actually friends at this point, albeit friends who give each other a lot of shit, mostly from Vegeta to Goku, but they're friends. They're still rivals, but they're friends.
Yep. Because Vegeta still hates to be one-upped all the time, which is just amusing. Every time.
That is his lot in life.
Yeah. I can't really think of any specific things about frenemies that really stood out to me as being better or worse than the rest of it. It was all really good. My favorite parts of it would have to be just about every time Chrysalis's face was zoomed in on, though. Just because for some reason, just I really liked her mane that this episode. It was weird. It's just all the time her hair just looked so good. It's like, now why does her hair draw my eye so much? What the fuck? I'm not a hair enthusiast, so I'm not a hair enthusiast. So why am I turning into Sweetie Belle and really loving her mane? I don't get it.
You're smitten.
Maybe, I don't know.
You love Chrysalis.
Yeah.
I just want to know what the
I mean, he wrote an entire story with OC banging it, so.
No.
I
Precisely.
just want to,
You realize they never actually got around to that, right?
Not in the story.
I just want to know what the hell the creature was that she drained a love out of.
Oh yeah, it was like this weird combination between a Naga and a Minotaur. What was that?
So she totally killed that thing next.
Full
She
serpent.
cocooned it at least. It's still alive, I bet, because you can't drain emotions from a corpse. Because
Oh, she was.
Yeah.
She said she was saving the rest of it as a snack till the morning.
I mean, leaving just a little bit in it, leaving it alive, gives it time to build back up. So,
Yeah.
So who knows? She could have maybe made that thing last for like weeks. Who knows? It was an odd creature, though. I'll give it that. Tyrek, though, I gotta admit, I gotta hand it to. I like Tyrek in this one.
Everybody's knows he's just there making a fire.
He was
Like,
being,
As it-
that's right.
out of all of them, he was probably the most intelligent when it came to that, because he was pretty quickly able to figure out that. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to get to the top of all
Chris-
this shit.
As a changing lover, I have to point out that Chrysalis made it the furthest, alright?
She did make it the furthest on her own, but she still couldn't make it to the top.
Yeah, the last leg because of the winds. Also, that opening bit where all the dark creatures of the forest are stalking her. As if they've forgotten who she is.
Here's a good question. Out of all the surviving villains, who do you think will be the one that has the least usefulness?
Cozy. Because, I mean, Gorgor's not going to fall for a manipulation bit. They all freaking know about it.
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
Chrysalis was enticed into attending the meeting because cupcakes.
I think she just likes
and
cupcakes.
Tyrek was enticed into the meeting just so Cozy would shut up. They may know that she's manipulative as all hell, but I think she still knows how to wrap them around her hoof to a lesser extent.
She is Donna Dimple.
And of course, she can scream loud enough to cause avalanches, so that's a plus.
Avalanche! No, cozy glow.
This is not the real me. I am cute and lovable. No, you're not.
Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah.
All sweet and innocent until the moment shit's not going her way.
Mm-hmm.
Like a total spoiled brat.
She
As
is a total spoiled brat. Who almost drained all the fucking magic out of a question. Even Tyrek thought that was overkill. Although, to be fair, that's his food, so.
Yeah.
Don't you
Never
think
mind.
all of the magic was a little excessive?
It also might be the fact that she would have tidal locked the planet. So,
Yeah, that
like-
would have been problematic for the other world, for the other side. Like, what the fuck was the sun?
and she still wouldn't have been ruler of Equestria because there was an army of guards already walking towards her door. So it's like,
She would have caused an apocalypse and gained nothing for her trouble.
yeah, which is why they're like,
Hmm.
you're a bit new to this whole villain thing, aren't you?
Okay,
The
sweetie,
most,
you seriously
the
need
most
to
dumbest villain there is.
Well, she's a
She's
brilliant and manipulative, but she's still a child and childish.
well, you see, she's great at manipulating others. She's good at short-term planning. Long-term, where her plans kind of fall apart because she doesn't think about the long-term ramifications of her actions very much.
Well, she thought if there was no magic and she was the only one with it, that she'd be automatically Empress of Friendship, and that's just because she's a child. She doesn't really twig the larger world much.
Yeah.
I could imagine her just attending a
Reality.
villain committee, and everybody was like, "What's your grand scheme?" Oh, I tried to get rid of all the magic in the world so I could become Empress of Magic.
Sounds like Kefka. Anyway. Yeah, that's basically what she fucking was. I just realized she's fucking Kefka, except not a clown.
Yep.
Kefka is a clown, so that comparison kind of immediately falls flat. Oh, well. So, yeah, all in all, I think it's safe to say we all rather liked Frenemies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I enjoy it.
then it's time to get on to yesterday's episode, Sweet and Smoky.
I fucking love modern Fluttershy.
I have more
my
mixed
God.
feelings about this particular episode. I don't dislike it, but I can't stand Garble. Even with the sort of attempt at a redemption thing he got this episode, it happened too quickly, and we didn't see any of it before, so I don't buy it. And even if he has this more sensitive side and has a more direct tie-in with Smolder that gives him more of a firm plant in the world, he's still insufferable. I just cannot bring myself to like the guy. I don't care if he has a sob story about having a sensitive side that makes him be bullied a lot. We've all seen that story. We know how it goes. It wasn't really done new here. It was kind of rushed, and as a result, all of the scenes where Garble was present were kind of the weakest parts of the episode for me, which is disappointing because that was the focus of the episode. But yeah, all the parts where Fluttershy was kind of taking front stage.
She's
those
kind of stole the show.
Yeah, those were great because she was showing a surprising amount of sass.
I mean, season 1, she was terrified of dragons. This season, dragons are terrified of her.
I mean, to be fair, I imagine she'll still be terrified of a giant dragon. She's always loved smaller dragons. But like, if you get something like Ember's Pops, Fluttershy will probably shat herself and run if she sees that.
Like full adult
Oh, yeah.
dragons.
Yeah, like things that are like the size of a fucking city. Yeah, no, she's running from that.
Also, Fluttershy asking if all the eggs were embers.
Ember to blush on Ember's face. What? No, I'm still a virgin.
Also, how do you expect to put all of these out? Jesus.
One at a time? Maybe they start small and grow big while the embryos are developing? I don't know.
So maybe not, which is another reason it's like, what?
Yeah, that was a funny question, and I just loved Ember's facial expression. There was plenty of good in the episode, I will say that, but the focus of it kind of fell flat. It was all the tertiary stuff that kind of shined brighter for me. So pretty much any time that Garble was not on screen was great. The rest, but because he was on screen for a pretty large percentage of the episode, it just, I don't know, it didn't really sit well with me.
You could say he garbled the episode.
Paladin,
Oh,
I will kick you
There's
from
the
this chat. I will.
know
I mean,
you-
I will Garfield.
was looking to see if I could do that, but I can only ban him, so that will have to do.
I will Garfield punt you from this voice chat. If
I
you-
am not
Don't
paying
ban
a
me,
fiver.
that's too excessive.
And I'll have a bird's eye view of it.
yes,
I
exactly.
am not paying. Paladin, I am not paying a $5 a month
God.
bonuses of Discord to hear your puns.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. You can stop anytime. In fact, you will stop right now at this time.
I'll stop when the memes stop.
The memes have stopped.
Yes. Stop punishing us.
No, they haven't. They're always going.
The memes have stopped, and it should be nice and silent at night. So please.
Well, yes, everyone else's thoughts on Sweet and Smoky.
Yeah. What?
What?
Okay, isn't the thing revealed that Smolder has an older brother? It's like, ooh, new character. In comes in Garble, saying, okay, where's the older brother? Wait, it's him? Okay, what the hell?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed by that tidbit. I mean, we knew she had a brother, but
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was
Yeah.
Garble because I don't think anything worth a damn is Garble.
Yeah, and this also brings up another thing. In the meltdown, Smolder refers to her brother as going through the molt. So she was referring to Garble back then.
Yep. That's how timelines work.
Wow.
It doesn't exactly make the fact that it is Garble any better to me. I would have been much. I
Nah,
would have been much
neither.
happier with a new character, but oh well.
Mm,
Well, I was expecting a new character.
agreed.
I mean, Garble was just throwing smashing Phoenix eggs just because he was bored. So
Yeah, which I mean that's murder. So
Yeah, because he was bored.
boredom murder, the
Best.
worst kind of murder, except for premeditated. Premeditated boredom murder. That is the worst type of murder. You're killing people because you're bored and you thought about it beforehand. Yeah,
I mean,
that's awful.
the dragon, and dragons usually don't give a shit.
He kills the unborn.
They've started giving a shit. Thank fuck. They're still like arrogant, proud, egotistical, and confrontational assholes a lot of the time, but they're getting better thanks to Ember, and Spike's influence on Ember.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it was hilarious when Ember was trying to figure out how to make the eggs pop, hatch, and like when she was trying to mimic what Fluttershy was doing with the Gucci Gucci goo, because she had no idea what the fuck she was doing with eggs.
Wow.
Gucci Gucci goo. Come on now, hatch a Gucci Gucci goo. Spike walks in. What are you doing? It was great.
Mm.
And then, of course, they all hatched, and it was fucking adorable. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was all right episode, I think. Not as good as Frenemies, not by a long shot, and probably the weakest one in the season so far for me. I haven't seen She's All Yak yet, so I can't judge that one. But, yeah, that would be my final verdict. What about the rest of you?
I agree with Dr.
kinda
Wolf's
know.
evaluation on it.
Which I have not seen his video, so I don't know his evaluation.
More or less, he wasn't satisfied with Garble's Jill.
I have forgotten it.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure no one was satisfied with Garble.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm.
I think the only reason Smolder is satisfied with Garble is because, Garble is her brother, and so there's a bit of a bias there.
Mm.
I mean, you can't always pick your family, so
You just straight up can't pick your family at first, at least not the one you're born with.
unless you're an orphan that gets
Well, you
adopted.
could pick your friends, but not your family.
Well, I mean, if you're an orphan, you still don't pick your biological family, and most of the time, if you're an orphan, you only have a limited say in your surrogate family. And generally speaking, no one really says anything about it until it's already established, from my experience at least. I mean, unless it's like straight up you're in an orphanage, but those things kind of fell out of style a long time ago, from my understanding. But like in the conventional sense, they've changed their formatting a lot, as I understand it.
Oh yeah, but now we have internet.
Yeah, well, although I don't really see how that plays into it, but yeah.
Never mind.
But yeah. Tom, you've been surprisingly quiet for a little while.
Well, I said my thing about the episode. I was like, you guys speak.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, I don't really have much else to say about it, so why don't we move on to the next topic?
Yep.
Now, this next topic was suggested by Crow, and depending on how much material we each have for it, could go easily for the rest of the episode, or could not go at all, so we'll see what happens. The basic idea is, if there are any interesting fan fictions we've been reading recently, just let's talk about them for a minute.
Hey, go read a story about a guy called BB. It's good.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. No,
The stories I've been reading recently is yours.
no. God damn it. Something written by no one in this room.
Yeah.
So we'll just go from left to right in terms of visuals of the screen. So that means we'll start with me. If I had to pick one, there are a few that I've kind of been keeping track of. Might as well just point out both of them. I've talked about them before on the show, I think, but I might as well do so again. I don't really think this first one needs any introduction, but fuck it, I'll do so. Anyway, The Enchanted Library by Monochromatic and its sequel, The Enchanted Kingdom. I've gone on to the sequel now, and they're really fucking good. The author is very clearly very good at what she does, and also apparently has a lot of really damn good editors. So the story is very concise, very neat, very well presented, and the introspection of the characters never goes on whoever the lead character is never goes on for too long. The basic premise is again, I don't really need to explain it, but fuck it, might as well. The basic premise is it's an alternate universe story where Twilight was alive 1,000 years before the rest of the main six, same with Spike. And for a range of reasons that are all revealed over the course of the story and are very mysterious at the time, she winds up getting trapped in her library in Ponyville, and the Everfree Forest grows around it, and no one can fucking find her, and all the other princesses have disappeared, and so there's this legend and a holiday that's kind of sprung up around them, which is called Seeking Night, where everyone tries to find these lost legendary princesses in their towns, and every town does it a little differently. Like in Ponyville, Twilight is represented by Princess Bookie. Clever, I know. Right? Yeah. It's fucking great. As incredibly sad and demoralizing as this story can get sometimes, it has a surprisingly strong and witty sense of humor. The main character of the Enchanted Library is Rarity, and she stumbles upon the library quite by accident, meets a ghostly Princess Twilight Sparkle within said library, and the rest of the story pretty much revolves around their developing relationship as Rarity is going out of her way to try and find a way to get Twilight out. And while the primary focus of the story, according to Monochromatic, has always been that it's a romance story first and an adventure story second, a lot of people take the measure of it being an adventure story first and a romance story second. I view it as being both at once. Like, they're inextricably tied. The romance and the adventure are intimately bound in the context of the story. I don't think you could really have one without the other and have it still work the way it does. So it's both. Neither of them really taking more precedence than the other. At least that's how I've chosen to interpret it. That's not how the author originally intended it. It's meant to just be romance first, adventure second, but, that's just how I get the most enjoyment out of it. It's long. A lot of the chapters are well over 10,000 words, but I just kind of poked at it slowly but surely by reading bits and bobbles of it while waiting for Mom outside of work or when in waiting rooms and places, and I've made steady progress, and I'm working my way through the sequel, which is still in progress, and it's really good. It's really sweet. There's a lot of interesting adventure and a lot of creative solutions to fascinating problems. The characters are interesting as all hell. The legend about it's very tight. There is not a single detail wasted. Everything has a purpose, be it immediately or later on. It is great, well foreshadowed, marvelously paced. I can't give it enough credit or enough props. So, yeah, go check that shit out if you haven't already, though most of you probably have. The other one I kind of want to point out real quick, its sequel has recently started, would be Empty Horizons. Its sequel, Sunken Horizons, recently started. It's written by Golden Wing, and I'm actually voicing one of the characters in a multi-person audiobook production of it that still hasn't gotten anywhere, but that's a story for another time. And the basic premise behind that, again, it's an alternate universe story, but in this context, all of it branches off at the Canterlot wedding, and takes place thousands of years after the Canterlot wedding. And shit went wrong that I still don't actually know what. It hasn't been fully explained yet. It will be, I imagine, but it hasn't yet. What basically seems to have happened is Twilight Sparkle and her friends were captured during the changeling invasion of Canterlot at the end of Season 2, were cocooned, and then woke up from those cocoons thousands of years later to find that the whole fucking world was underwater except for a bunch of floating islands that just kind of drift around in the sky. And the whole and ponies get on with steampunk zeppelins and shit. There's a very delicate balance of power between baronies and merchants and the working class. It's weird as hell, and they're trying to keep ahead of bounty hunters because the main six have cutie marks, and that's a rare thing now. So there are a lot of layers, and it has several plot threads going at once. The group kind of splits up early on, and so each group kind of has their own independent plot threads that they're following. And each one kind of deals with different things, and there are deep dive segments and sort of political intrigue where Rarity is concerned. It's fascinating, and it's a very clear example that just making it up as you go can work. and work out really well. There is an entire subplot that drove the ending of the first story that started because the author didn't want to write Fluttershy in the first chapter, so he just had her be in a coma. And then all of the shit he had to do to deal with that afterwards wound up branching into this fascinating and grim and intense side plot that's led into the sequel, and it's great stuff. If you haven't checked it out, I strongly encourage it. Chapters, again, are kind of long, but it's very tight, very concise, and he has really good editors and fellow writers helping him out on it, so it's very tight, very concise. Plot holes are all plugged. He's very good at this. Go check out Empty Horizons by Golden Wing. So, yeah, those are the ones I've been thinking about. Going from left to right, next up would be Paladin. You got anything?
Stories would probably be the Lunar Guardsmen, in my opinion.
Oh.
It's been a while since I've picked the story back up because it's still being in the process of being written. But it's basically about a guy. Yes, this is a human equestrian before we get there. Guy who's basically been to different universes and he's killed most of them.
I'm already detecting copious amounts of edge. Does he wear spiky armor that he has to be careful he doesn't cut himself on?
No, that's when he finally gets to the equestrian universe, he gets the lunar armor and becomes Luna's personal guard.
Interesting.
Well, when she finally returned from the moon, while she was on the moon, he was basically Twilight's personal bodyguard because when she was young, he got captured in the forest, and they were going to put him down until Celestia was there, realizing, oh, he's intelligent. Let's bring him in and try to help him. And while he was in the medic wing, Twilight got kidnapped and was going to be killed.
Yikes.
And he figured this out, even though he can't understand anyone or read the language. This ends up saving her.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's not the typical good guy, though.
I can tell if he destroyed several universes before he showed up in Equestria. That doesn't exactly scream good guy to me. That actually screams quite the opposite. That screams Eldritch Abomination antagonist to me.
Mass murderer.
Like hello.
genocide.
Like, hello, I'm Azathoth. I'm here to wreck up your entire creation.
I mean, the universe is trillions upon trillions of uncountable people dead.
Yeah, like
so-
one of the universes, like, human race was fighting, like, robots that's gone basically like Terminator. And him just, stumbles upon, basically wrecks the barriers, keeping them out, and kills everybody. And survivors get picked off by the robots.
Yeah, this is not a good guy.
Yeah.
Why should I root for him?
And now he's in Equestria, which he cannot remember everything he's done since his journey.
Huh.
And is actually trying, I think, to find redemption or something
I should fucking hope so.
by serving under Princess Luna,
Oh, here's the open.
which their conversations are interesting because Luna herself is basically, in this Equestria, a monster hunter.
Monster
But she
Hunter.
don't Yes, but she don't give a fuck about the people that much.
Weird. This is a very weird story you're talking about.
This story sounds like you cut yourself when it is that edgy.
Like she went to a village, recruited a bunch of ponies to help distract them with the one of the group of monsters, and she just basically left them there to die.
Yeah, that's not all that great. Anyway. So, shall we move on to the next person down the line? Because I think we get the idea.
Yeah.
All right, we get the idea. This is a story you don't want to read if you have any concept of morality. So, Darkness. What about you? Any good fanfics you've been reading recently that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, but won't be talking about change because of what you said earlier, so...
Yep.
I suppose the only other one I would be hugely interested in besides change would be the bridge. Which I was a bit worried of stepping into this because it's one of those kinds of ones where it crosses over. Problem I have with crossovers, sometimes one side of the story is where one half of the characters is more overpowered than the other or gets more attention than the other. In this, on the other hand, nicely balanced between the two. It has a lot of character development, which was another thing I'm worried about since the kaijus from freaking Godzilla haven't spoken a single bit of dialogue in the entire movies they were in. It's a great big giant freaking monsters. But they constructed a unique personality and give them a voice that's really freaking well done for them. I was a bit surprised by that.
So,
Like-
so I think I've heard of this one. This is a Godzilla and MLP story, right?
Godzilla
Yeah.
the Bridge.
And the reason why I hopped onto this because I'm a freaking huge fan of Godzilla.
Right. Just for clarity's sake, for me, are they still giant monsters, or did they get shrunk down when they came over? Just for my own clarity's sake.
They started off in their world, they get sent to their world through a massive Japanese super weapon of such, because they can't destroy them. Fuck this, we send them somewhere else. Which that's pretty much what happened, or they think
me
they
put
destroyed
this-
them. But the weapon accidentally sent them somewhere else instead of destroyed
Okay,
them.
okay, but that's not answering my question.
They shrunk down to like a bony subversion of the
Okay, that's what I wanted to
shouldn't
know.
say it, but-
That's what I
Except
wanted.
for Mothra. She
I've
looks
actually read
like
the
a
story, it's pretty
reformed
good.
Chrysalis.
Well, I mean, with that
But
bit
she's
of
like the mother of the group.
clarification, I might actually go give it a look at some point.
I would recommend it. It's got a great balance of both of their worlds,
Hmm.
from character development and to the badass fighting. And when they do get down to the fighting, it's worth the freaking wait.
All right, Lightning Flash, do you have anything for us? Third
Lightning Flash?
third British person, come in.
Sorry, connection bad. Yeah, well, there is one fic I've been reading lately. I haven't touched it in a while. It's a fic called Symbiote, which is basically MLP
Ah.
version of Venom.
Oh yeah, I read
Film.
some of that.
Yep. I'm a fan of the film Venom, so I thought, ooh, MLP crossover. Let's dive in.
I like.
I read the recent movie.
Yeah,
of
basically,
Venom.
Twilight's taking the place of Eddie Brock. Venom is, of course, being Venom. And it's rather interesting to see how Twilight reacts to Venom initially. She's more curious than scared.
Well, I mean, yeah, and then I remember I read some of that myself, and and I remember there was this one part that was kind of funny because like she was eating a bunch of chickens, cooked chickens that she got from the meat section at a store. Spike walks in, sees her just consuming raw chickens en masse. Is like, okay, and he leaves. Like it's like Twilight with like bits of venom poking at her, just has like half a chicken sticking at her mouth. Just, it was great.
Yeah. If I recall, he also has a sensation for chocolate.
It actually has a surprisingly large amount of the like chemical or molecule or protein or whatever it is that they need to survive. The symbiotes in it. Chocolate has a surprisingly large amount of the shit they rely on in it. So yeah, the Venom loves chocolate because it's like the best way for him to stay alive. That isn't eating people. Wait, what is this thing? It looks delicious. We're not eating dogs. I still need to watch that movie. I've seen bits and bobs, but I actually need to watch it.
All I would say is I thought I was going to not like it from the first 12 minutes, but from there, once you get past that, you're going to like it.
All right.
Yeah. Plus, I'm going to be cosplaying Venom at a convention I'm going to in June.
Which
Epic.
Which convention?
SunnyCon in UK. It's an anime and comics convention up in Newcastle, so up north in the country.
Neat.
Ah, shit, I'm far away from it. No, I'm probably working on that day anyway.
All right.
Bugger.
Next up,
Yes.
Crow. Do do you have any to talk about? I imagine you do, because you're the one who
yeah.
suggested this topic in the first place.
There's been one that I've been following though. It's not completed yet, but it's called the Chrysalis Savior of Time.
I've seen that in the featured list a few times.
It's by
boy.
Robo Bro, but
That's the name.
it's a well written story, but it is pretty hilarious. So the premise is that this pony from thousands of years in the future time travels. He's like a tour guide, and so he's kind of showing and he fucks up somehow, and the time machine crashes, and it splats Twilight on the day that she's supposed to go to the summer sun celebration. And so he freaks out because he's like, "Oh God, this is gonna cause a paradox," because he killed Twilight. So he quickly grabs Twilight's body, and he flees through time. Then he goes straight to Chrysalis, and he's like, "Okay, you gotta help me." And then she's like, "Why the fuck would I help you? Who the hell are you, and why are you here?" And he's like, "Well," then goes and he shows her Twilight's body, and at first she's like, "Well, fuck yeah, this is great." And then he goes, "Wait, no, she doesn't have alicorn wings." See, but yeah, this is not the Twilight of your time. What did you do?
What did you
let's
do?
I think it's like I need you to go back in time and pretend to be Twilight
Between.
to set the time stream right. And Chrysalis says, "What should I do?" "Well, you're not gonna have your empire. You're probably gonna if this gets fucked over, you're gonna get fucked over." And she's like, "Fine." So he takes her back, and the whole story from there and there is Chrysalis trying to do everything that Twilight did.
It makes sense.
But often probably doing it wrong, I bet, because Chrysalis is an asshole and Twilight's not, usually.
Yeah.
Also, the timeline's inherently fucked now anyway,
Luckily,
because Twilight's
the
dead
other
and
six
Twilight.
can't, and the rest of the main six can't know that anything's wrong with her because they haven't met Twilight yet. So it's no. I mean, Spike kind of knows something's off, but it's Chrysalis.
I don't know why I got this in my head. Like, so how does this make any sense? Old timey-wimey stuff. Just go.
I mean, you say this is not your Twilight from modern day, but now Twilight in her modern day is going to be her.
Yeah.
Does that mean Chrysalis is going to meet herself?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
When Chris
they fight the.
It hasn't happened currently, but yes, it's been strongly hinted.
That they're going to
and-
meet. That's
and
going to
when-
be fun. Does Chrysalis still have the ability to shapeshift and do changeling shit, or is she actively in Twilight's body?
She's still her. She's just pretending to be Twilight.
Right, so she can still shapeshift. Okay.
Why wouldn't she just go,
No
and
one
we've
knows that
won
she's
the
a changeling,
wedding?
Oh, I can imagine.
So
Just
her
nudge
first
things in her
task is
favor.
stopping Nightmare Moon, and the whole elements of harmony thing didn't work out for her. So
Because she's not the element of magic.
I can
So she
imagine
just-
that. Work
so
for me,
she
you
lets the-
stupid things. Nope.
she lets the other 5 get taken out, knocked out and all that, and then she confronts Nightmare Moon, and then she starts flirting with Nightmare Moon. And Nightmare Moon's like, "What?"
Flirting with her? Oh, okay, I need a link to this because this sounds like gold.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I can imagine
Okay.
what happens when she does eventually come across her other self as well. I'm gonna say, wait.
Do I really look
No.
that hot from the outside?
I know this freaking room is hot, and I got the windows open. What the fuck
But
is?
yeah,
Okay, that would explain why I couldn't find it with the search, because there's a fucking U in it. In the title. I looked for it and I couldn't find it because there's a goddamn U in Savior. Who does that? Wow, this thing is...
British.
Okay, also, this thing is slow to update. I just
Excuse me, you and Savior, that's just
Uh,
British spelling. Thank you, you American bastard.
but
I could
what
just
is there
imagine
is
that.
totally worth reading, even though it's not completed yet. But it's still.
Imagine a warning
Um,
as soon as she's about to confront her other self. then there was like a warning. Remember, if you come across your other self, do not reveal yourself. Oh, this ain't gonna be fun.
Well, I'll be sure to
It's
go.
just like her
I'll be sure to go have a
other
look at that when
self.
we're done here.
But
It's just
the other half is that after she beats Nightmare Moon, Luna becomes her stalker.
Oh no!
Love struck stalker.
Oh God!
You moved the other.
Aye.
I didn't like much of what happened when I was Nightmare Moon, but I do like those eyes you gave me.
Well, she did
You
kiss
wooed-
Nightmare Moon, so
You
Those-
wooed my other self.
those-
Teach me.
Those lips, I must claim them. We are horrible
my
people.
word.
We are horrible people. All right. All right.
Is
So,
that like a dream I had once had?
okay, you can stop right there. Last person.
Oh, mother of me, no.
last person. Tom, anything that isn't written by me that you want to talk about?
Well, I can talk about just a little batty.
Go
If
for
anyone's
it.
heard of that one.
I've heard of it. I read it back when it was just a one shot before the author decided to keep it going. But tell me more.
Just a Little Batty is a just now completed story of a bat pony thestral filly called Nightingale, who's well technically half Pegasus because her mother's a normal Pegasus, her father's a thestral.
Oh.
Like her mother was Solar Guard, her father was Lunar Guard, so she kind of has to dealing with the whole night and day thing. Like she really wants to be a guard herself. Particularly, she idolizes Princess Luna entirely. She calls Celestia the Sun Witch.
Okay, that's rude and uncalled for, but okay.
She calls it that because Princess Luna is the best princess of all time, and Celestia is just trying to one-up her, so she's the Sun Witch.
I care.
So, does he sleep in the day?
Luna, for her part, finds Nightingale completely adorable. But yeah, they moved to Ponyville, where obviously Nightingale comes into contact with the CMC, and she ends up joining them in the search for a cutie mark. Is also spends a lot of the story trying to whip them into shape because they need to be guard material, and just general filly cuteness of someone trying to impress her godfather, and particularly Princess Luna and Princess Twilight as well. She considers her second best princess, so she's not a total loss.
A Disney song.
Neat. Sounds like
Yeah.
adorableness. It was only a one shot when I first looked at it, so
Now it's got a lot of chapters now. Then it just goes through arcs of initial Nightingale moving into Ponyville, where in that one shot that
When you
the
say a lot
CMC
of
first meet her.
chapters, how many chapters to be precise?
I don't want to count them because they're not numbered.
Oh, well, that's helpful.
Yeah. So in the
Oh boy.
one shot you probably read, Tone, where CMC first meet her hanging upside down in a dark closet with sunglasses, drinking like I can't remember what it was. I think it was like
mango juice.
I don't think it was mango juice. Oh yeah, it's mango juice, but had bugs in it because she likes eating bugs. Because I think that's just thing vegetables do.
Ponies love their mangoes.
Then it goes through the whole arc of her interacting with the CMC. Rumble has a crush on her. She doesn't return because even though she doesn't realize yet she's a lesbo, and ends up getting a crush on Diamond Tiara.
Wow, that's
Oh,
unusual.
God.
Yeah, or rather, it's
Sorry for it.
at least initially, it's actually more the other way around. Diamond Tiara gets a crush on Nightingale and is super awkward about it, and Nightingale just doesn't realize in the slightest, and yet everyone else does. Teases her about it.
Like,
You know, you do realize she's trying to bang you with her eyes, right? What does that mean? You'll figure it out. What I want to know, Apple Bloom, is how do you know that? Isn't your family, like, super reserved? Shush. I'm friends with you. You know what? That is a fair point.
And they're inbred.
And there's also a whole thing where Twilight finally gets some guards in the castle, thank Christ. And also sets up like a junior guard thing, which Nightingale drags all the other CMC into, which is like a. Do you have some of the cadets over there where like a bunch of kids are taken through like initial army stuff?
It's kind of like JROTC.
I have no idea what that is, but I'm gonna say yes.
I think it's kind of like it's like a military prep thing in high schools over here, I think.
Something like that, yeah. Where they're taking them through like, drills and what will be expected of them and such. Nightingale kind of takes it a bit too seriously because they try and make it fun for the kids. And then you go through meeting a family. It kind of explores ancestral culture a bit and is generally quite adorable.
Nice. Might have to give that a look at some point, though right now I have my sights set on Chrysalis flirting with Nightmare Moon, because that just sounds hilarious. Alright, so that is everyone. We've got about 15 more minutes, so how's about we devote those remaining 15 minutes to our last topic, which is the continuing tales of Crimson the Dragon.
Oh dear.
I do not remember where we left off in that story.
Luckily, I do.
Okay.
Just before I begin, just to clear things up, they also have the free will to change from the Oni cells to Kaiju cells only for a minimum amount of time, depending on how much magic they consume up.
All right.
But anyway, when I last left off, Crimson is recovering from a terrible hangover.
Oh, yeah.
Barrow challenge, thanks to Darwin, the dwarf group, who's now in a messed up, shock, but also happy mood for finding out that his title of champion of the bar is no more, for Crimson has won because she outdid him with an extra barrel, where he can even make it through half of the second barrel, which I managed to find out the actual size now, which is about half the size of a halfling.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense than what you were describing.
I am getting it from Josh, and he misses out a few facts now and then.
All right.
But anywho. And while that was going off, Mirren, the leader of the group, had to deal with Aston's prank issue because he decided it was a good idea to set a random captain of the guard's cape on fire, which then that fire traveled up. He went screaming, running about, and everywhere he hit, the fire just spread. He survived, but he's a bit critically damaged with the burns and being healed up. So he had to step in second in command, which is not happy with him or the rest of the party because they allowed him to get out of control. Niren had to get some supplies from another town because the supplies they had got burnt up, which unfortunately for Niren, she got ambushed by a bunch of bandits, which she managed to escape, but failed in her mission and had a freaking arrow in her back. She had to get treated. And by
Well,
the
I hope
heat of
so.
her-
I don't think an arrow to the back is healthy.
No. But she does like her attitude to it. What happened? I just got jumped and I think I got an arrow in the back. Yep.
Definitely have that.
She just looked back and just like, yeah. Doesn't that hurt? Ain't the first time I got shot.
I mean, in a D&D campaign, that's not an invalid response.
I mean, she's an assassin. The last thing she'd be doing is running away and then getting shot at by frickin' archers constantly. If they spot her, there she is. Ow, ow, screw you, ow. She just refuses to die. I love it. And the video was healing up. Crimson at the time when they all get back together. Unfortunately, Dawn had to get a second re-heal because when he got out 2 drinks, one of them was poisoned because Aston was planning to poison one of the freaking shopkeepers for this this freaking robe he wanted that cost way more than the gold. But he took the robe anyway and some gold he found on the counter, which got him even more trouble.
Huh.
And then the second in command thinks he recognizes him from a certain incident with another town that burnt. Like a quarter of it got burnt down. He tried to put the blame on the dragon, then Crimson just knocked him out with her tail, and he went to jail. And he's still there. And this is where it continues. Which is the handy thing he's in jail, because it turned out the guy who played him was unfortunately away for 2 weeks because he's gone to holiday with his family. An unexpected holiday. So it's up to Mirren, Doran, Severe, Niran, and of course Crimson to deal with another issue. To not just get rid of that problem, but to redeem themselves a bit for their French shenanigans. Which they have to deal with the bandits who have been constantly attacking all their trade routes. And there's also been some reports from the scouts that they're building up a huge number in the center of the forest. Which they
So
did
the
ask
pirates
if we...
were down.
Which they did request a bit of help. From some of their guards, which luckily persuaded the second in command to send some of his soldiers, accompanied by him, of course, to make sure that Crimson doesn't eat them, because he does not like Crimson a bit. It's one thing he has to deal with a fire mage who's gone out of control, but a red dragon, that's a whole different story. He has a huge hatred and passion for the reason. As he pointed out, these creatures are nothing but chaotic evil. Trusting one is insane. You're either food or slaves to it.
Like cats. Crimson is the cat of the group. She just happens to be giant, can breathe fire, and can talk. But aside of that, yeah, she's basically just a fucking cat.
Yep.
I'm so happy.
Fan out of Crimson Cat now.
Be careful, she hates being known as a pet. She always points
Crimson Cat
out
strikes again.
with threats and a casual tail whip or a jaw snapping. That's her apparently being polite. But anywho, they went through the forest and they encampment. It looked well fortified. There were archers along the wall. It looked pretty fortified. So they had to think of a plan of action, which coincidentally Mirren managed to think of one just in the nick of time. Captain of the Guard still is a bit wary about this plan, but it's a plan. And this was it. Right. Nian, since you are the long range of the, I need you to take these archers with you and find some decent high ground surrounding this encampment. You be sniping them from far. Okay. As for you two, you're going to be with me, which include Doran and Severin. And what about me? You and your men hold back. And if anything does kick off, because I was going to try something, I'm going to try to communicate with them first, try to talk some sense into them. If that don't work, then we just run in and hope for the best. Genius plan. Truly, you are a man of strategy. Well, can you think of something? I'm just a second in command. Usually, the main commander thinks of everything. And he's not here. You've forgotten something else in your plan. Oh, Crimson, yeah. No offense, Crimson. I really need you to stay here for now. If everything's about to go wrong, then you can reveal yourself. Why are we wasting our time? I could just torch the place. No, no. Do not torch. We need to get any supplies they've stolen, and they've also got prisoners. We need to save them. You can't kill civilians.
Why not?
And tell me, how would I know they are civilians and not bandits trying to deceive us? To me, a human's a human. Crimson, this is no time for racism. Just stay in the forest.
When will it be time, leader?
Stupid plan. Hate this plan. I know. Just stay back. Trust me, you get your moment. So they tried to talk with them after they managed to convince one of the guards to get the leader. He wasn't having much of it. He just thinks this is some ridiculous joke. The whole treaty between the Citadel and the encampment. They didn't care. Because why should they share when they can just take? That's their attitude. You know what? Instead of investing in words of peace, you should have invested yourself in an army. That's a nice option, but we don't need an army. We have a crimson.
We have a dragon.
Oh, you stupid fool. Please, pray tell, what is a crimson? And on cue, this huge shadow who just fall upon them as they saw this huge object getting in the way of the sun, which the bandits just like went pale and except for the leader, he was in complete denial.
That's not a dragon. That's just a fanciful illusion spell.
Yep, he was like that. As they were about to run off, you will stay on this wall and fight. You really think these fools have a dragon on their side? Please, dragons think they're superior than us in every way. No dragon will join up to a bunch of pathetic fools such as these. Strike them down immediately, or I'd be cutting some heads off. Damn.
So I imagine they lost the fight pretty spectacularly.
Well, a load of them jumped down from the battlements, and just before the first shots of arrows can get in, Crimson descended down and just slaughtered 3 fucking guys like they were nothing. Which they were just completely horrified, and the leader like, wait, that's a fucking red dragon. They have a fucking red dragon!
To quote Dristo Erden, oh joy, they have a dragon.
Sir, what should we do? Keep engaging. I will get the reinforcements. Oh, that's a genius idea, sir. Wait, what reinforcement? Oh. We're fucked.
Glad of them to realize it.
Yeah. And while the fight was going pretty well, although there was a few casualties in the Royal Guard's ranks, but
Might want to wrap it
as
up. You've
for
got
the
2
bandit-
minutes left.
Don't you worry. As for the bandits, it wasn't going well for them. They were getting slaughtered, getting shot down by arrows. Crimson's going on a freaking killing spree. And she's just having a time of her life and also disturbing even the good guy. What? Because I've joined up doesn't mean humans aren't off the menu. Ew. It appears the captain of the guard ran to a huge tent, and which he required help from a ally. And as soon as Crimson descended up about to burn down a huge of the army, a huge bolt of magic just shot her out of the sky.
Ooh.
Came her crashing down to the ground in immense force, and she was in immense, terrible pain. Pain she's never felt before. And then the captain of the guard stepped out, and behind him was a freaking an old man with a staff that's wearing a dark blue frickin' robe with a hood.
Is this betrayal?
With a disturbing being glow from his eyes, and as the captain, basically the bandits. It appears what they were not informed that the bandits had a magic user of immense power on their side,
Oh boy.
which he's been facing it ever till now.
Well then.
Which I'm afraid we have to continue this another time.
Yeah, because we are out of time. We are at the hour mark. So, yep. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Jibber Jabber. Hopefully we'll see you next week. But either way, we will see you next time. Keep listening, people. Bye.
Sure.
Adios.
Bye.
I'll-
Known as a love-struck stalker.
You know, I think about that in my mind. I would not mind that with Princess Luna.
I would.